As it's been over a month since I last posted a video, I thought I would bring you up to date with my current modelling project, and here it is. This is on Wikipedia. This is a picture of Great Western Railway steam rail motor, number 93, beautifully restored by the Great Western Society in Didcot, and here it is running at Staverton on the South Devon Railway. And you can see it's quite a remarkable vehicle. It is steam powered, as I say. Here's the driving bogey, driving gear, and you can see a chimney up here, and you can probably just make out there's something brass polished up just there, and we've got a figure here and another figure here, I think another figure here actually, and it looks like a coach, and of course it's a self-propelled coach. It is a rail motor, a steam powered rail motor, so that's actually a vertical boiler in there in this front compartment with the vents, and then we have the passenger section running away here, and a conventional passenger coach bogey here, and sometimes they will be run with a trailer as well. So this is my current project, and well, I'll just go through what I've been able to do. So here we are in Gmax, and I have a couple of books about the rail motor, and from one of them I was able to get some outline plans, and you can see here quite a lot of effort gone into getting all of the beading and panelling, and I got this done fairly quickly, and it's only now, after several weeks of work, 3 or 4 weeks of work on it, that I realise it's wrong. But there you go, that's the way things happen. So here it is, I'm doing motor 38. Now these vehicles, these rail motors, were introduced from about 1906, and there were about 100 in the fleet altogether, and although 93, that's that one that's been restored, the only surviving rail motor restored and into full working condition, although at the moment it's back in its shed in Didcot, because its 10-year boiler certificate now needs to be, a new certificate has to be obtained. So this is where I started, and I was planning to allow for the panelling. You can see there I've got lots of splines. If I just click on one, you'll see what I mean. See, that's a spline there. So let's have a look at all the vertices, and this is the flat, but of course it's got a tumble home. It's got a curve in the bottom of the sides there, so you have to allow for that, and believe me, it's been difficult. It's probably the best way to describe it. But anyway, I have got on slowly. This is just version 1.1, as you'll see in the top left there. So let's open another version. No, we're not going to muck about with it. Let's jump forward to version 1.6, and you'll see immediately that there's quite a bit more work. I always save the different versions, because if I have to go back to change things, as indeed I'm now going to have to do, having just over the last few days realised I've done the panelling completely wrong. And the reason why I say it's done completely wrong is you'll see in this bubblegum colours of the actual meshes that I've got the sides here in sections, and then I've actually got what should be panelling done as raised meshes from the side. So what I've got to do is look again at my plan, and basically I've got to alter all of those. They just can't stay as they are. So I've got to alter all of those. Let's just get that texture correction so you can see. What I've done is I've sort of traced around that, but then I've assumed it's been a raised beading. Well, of course that's not the case. That's simply, if we have a look at that plan, come in a bit, all of this is the outer edge of, and there's another outer edge there, so this should be recessed back to the about 1/2 inch back to the carriage side. This stands out about 1/2 inch. This is a inset panel, come out 1/2 inch. So basically what I've got to do is redraw all these, because when I created these in the first place I've got drawn into the thickness of that line of that plan led up the garden path. So I've got to change all of these, alter the way in which they're appearing, and you'll get an idea of what I mean when I show you, because I'm going to be producing versions in both the maroon, which is the, let's have another look, that's that lovely colour, very Edwardian colour for the GWR. So I shall be producing versions both in this colour of every rail motor that I do, and also in the later chocolate and cream. So let's open up one of those versions. Ah, that's the doors, that's no good, just chocolate and cream doors, and in fact those are all wrong because I've got to alter the way in which they appear. Here we go. So here's the, I was working on the interior as well as the exterior, and you can see there that what I've done, this is the reason why I've done all those meshes, is I think it'll be a bit more obvious if you look at the side. Yeah, if you look over here in the right hand corner, you'll see that what I've done is I've just created a beading, raised beading all the way around, and that's wrong. What it must be is, what I need to do is that this isn't a beading, this should just be the inner edge of the rather complex mesh which comes out to the edge here. So all of this should be a ½ inch deeper, and then once I've done that, on this version, the chocolate and cream version, it's not too bad, but then the lining, as you can see here, I've actually used that beading. I've painted it, it's a bit too wide for the lining. So once I've got the beading on correct, in the correct colours, in the chocolate colour, and I've got an inner area here. I know this might sound complex, but it just takes time. Once I've got that correctly done, then what will happen is that we will have all of this area will be ½ inch deeper than this, sticking out ½ inch from this, which is the inset panel, and then this lining out will be thinner, and will simply, as we can, no, we can't see it on the maroon one, but is just really is going to be these upper sections is going to be lined out. So that's what I've done wrong. I mean, I've done this correctly in other GWR carriages. I took a fit of the head staggers and did it wrong. But you can see that apart from that, I've been getting on with the interior. Now this is the correct texture as fitted to both the rail motor and trailer at Didcot, and we've got the interior doors, sliding doors, and I've got the floor with this wood slats in the correct position, and this is a smoking compartment down here. I'm not quite sure what this compartment is. Oh no, this is the, there we are, this is the smoking compartment. It's this compartment down here. I'm not sure. Actually, it looks like here I'm wrong, and that I shouldn't have that partition in there. I need to lose that, so I'll do that. So we get more of a sort of, it's an open saloon, and underneath the roof, which I've hidden in this display, there will be longitudinal poles and straps. So strap hanging comes in with these rail cars. And this is the power compartment, so this will be the driving compartment. This is where the boiler is going to go, and I'll come on to the boiler in a minute, because that's going to be another great big job in itself. Well, apart from doing this and, you know, more or less getting it wrong, so I've got to go back and do that, but that's okay. What else have we got? We've got the maroon version. There's the doors, maroon. Excuse me. Now I haven't done the interior on this, and obviously what I'll do is I'll copy the interior from the chocolate and cream version over to this. And what I did wrong here is that on that panelling I've actually edged it with the lining out colour, which is wrong. That lining out colour, you can see it more easily here, should be on top of this, not on the edge. And in fact that edge shouldn't be there, that should be just raised up across to the next bit. So it's a real object lesson of being patient and being prepared to rip apart everything that you've done, or it's certainly on that, and do it again. But happily, I've also done the power bogey, and this was in fact one of the first bits that I did. I always tend to start with, if I'm doing a locomotive, and this of course is partly a locomotive, no, we don't want to go into that. Cancel. What am I doing here? I'm just trying to save that. Power unit, here we are. Just open that. There we are. So what I've done here with the power unit is, it's as with all of these, it's a bit of a compromise, and it took a little while. It's Walschaerts valve gear. Now what I haven't added, there's still some detail to add to this, and also you get some strange effects when you pull back in Gmax. You get spokes appearing where there shouldn't be, where the balance weight is in the wheel. This is the bottom of the boiler, and it's coming up to floor level, but this is going to be the power bogey for Trainz. In the originals, a whole lot rotated very slightly in the cab. At least that's how I read the book. I'm assuming it's right. But anyway, for Trainz, happily, it's more straightforward than that. So let's have a look at it actually running. So there we are. That's the Walschaerts valve gear firing away. That was fun making that, because there's quite a lot happening, and actually it's a simplified version of Walschaerts valve gear which I've made for this, because to have done the whole thing, every part, it would have been extremely complex, and it would have put the poly count way up, so we don't want that. So there we are. Let's just go back to 0 there, and just to give an idea of the poly count for this one, it's just under 10,000 for this bogey alone. So if I add some detail, and the sort of detail I'm thinking of adding are some bolt heads, some rivet heads, which will be on each one will be essentially just a piece of a plane. There we are, plane, one poly plane with a bolt head on it, and just pasted on to various places where it's meant to be. But that is more or less how it should be. I'm just looking down on that. I've simplified this framework here. On the original, the guys in Didcot, you know, because they did a fantastic job recreating all of this, and so I chickened out, and there was a curve in part of this which I just ignored. Essentially, of course, because once we get it onto the vehicle, the main item in Trainz, you're not really going to notice it. What about that boiler? Well, the boiler is going to be my last job for this boiler section. Here we go, and you'll see there I've not worked on it since the 3rd of September, and I haven't in fact done much of that because it is a bit of a beast, just like the Walschaerts bow. So you're dealing with quite a lot of beasts. In fact, it was when I started on this I realised I'd looked through I think it's Russell's book on the Great Western Railway locomotives. Years ago I'd looked at this particular diagram of this rail motor, and I thought, my goodness, I'm never going to be able to make that, and I've never tried to make it, so this really is something new for me. So this is just the first stage, and you can see I've got a bit of I've got the main sort of shape of the boiler, and I've got a bit of tube there, and I've also kept a copy of the boiler just here, just in case, and so this is part of my construction process. And what you can see, I'm not sure what I've got down there, is that main? No, a bog one. That's where the first bogey is going to go. So that Walschaerts valve gear bogey which you saw is going to sit under there, and that circular piece which you saw on the top of the Walschaerts is actually going to marry up to this, and because it's circular, it does. If the Walschaerts, that bogey moves slightly, pivots slightly around, going around a curve, it doesn't matter because this won't move. But I've got some very good photographs, especially of the restored rail motor number 93. As I say, I bought a couple of books. Quite right, they're proud as punch, pleased as punch, and very proud indeed of all their efforts, and considering how long it took them to reconstruct, and from the somewhat parlous state of the original vehicle, I think they've done a fantastic job. And it's a really lovely Great Western Railway, going to be a really lovely addition to the Great Western Railway fleet, I think, and I'm enjoying making it. I'm going to take my time. There's not going to be another video for another month, I wouldn't have thought, to show any progress, but I thought just to bring you up to date on what I'm doing at the moment. So eventually we shall have Great Western Railway. Let's have a look at the chocolate and cream one again. Here we go. We'll eventually have Great Western Railway rail motor, and this is just number 38. As I say, there are about 100 of them, and there's a number of different versions, particularly seating details, that sort of thing. Sliding doors there. That's a hinge door there. Up for the no, that's I think that's a sliding door actually. That one. No, that's a hinge door. That one. I think that one's another sliding door at the other end. Yes, it's a sliding door where the boiler is, and it just slides into the slot here, and slides into the slots there. So plenty to do, but very enjoyable doing it. It will eventually see the light of day, and number 38 then will be the first of a series of steam rail motors. I'll do several different types, to say different seating layouts, and I'll aim to do the maroon and chocolate and cream versions, and also maybe after I've done this first one, this number 38 in the two colour versions, I'll just bang out a trailer. There were different trailers, different types of trailers. One was clerestory for the early one, and the earliest of the rail motors actually had flat-sided, looked like matchboard, and I may make that, I may not. I'm undecided yet, because there's plenty to do before then. So there we are. I hope you've enjoyed the video, just bringing you up to date on what it is I'm working on at the moment, and I hope that's going to start your anticipation for loading up a lovely vehicle into your Trainz Rail Simulator Great Western Railway layout. So thanks for watching. I hope this has been of interest. If you have any queries or questions or comments, please do post them. I've had a couple of questions about where can you download GMAX, because it's been discontinued for a number of years now. And if you just do a quick search on Google, you come up with a number of sites. I don't know whether they're safe or not. You have to check them out for yourself. Make sure you've got your antivirus fully functioning, and make sure you have the registration workaround, which is a simple little text file which just basically lets you use GMAX, because it's now essentially a defunct program. I still like it. I'm still going to carry on modelling in it. I much prefer it to, I've never got my head around Blender, and so I'm going to carry on banging out these sort of models free of charge for Trainz Rail Sim. If you like the video, please subscribe, and look out for the next one. As I say, probably late October, I would guess, because I've got other work to do, quite a lot of other work to do. So this is just going to be in the spare time. There we are. GWR steam rail motor number 38 is on its way.